What's up guys, LyonLife here, and welcome back to another Atelier Resleriana video. Today we're going to be talking about the latest update to the game, which is coming here tomorrow. We're going to get two new characters, of course, as we can see, for One Summer Melody Claudia and Secret Amnesia Valeria. But the cool thing about this update is also we're going to be getting the Chapter 4 release as well too. It's also with another character as well too, which we'll get into that as well. But meanwhile, as you can see here, we've got the two characters here on the banner. They're going to be coming tomorrow. We've got 3-star Claudia and 3-star Valeria. Claudia herself is going to be a ice supporter, and Valeria is going to be a obviously physical / attacker. Of course, we're going to be getting the gems in the store that we can purchase at half price with the 1,500 gems. So 2 10 pulls, kind of like in the very beginning of the game when it launched. Same exact thing, except these two, of course, are going to be catered specifically just for that banner. Says here as well for Valeria, she is a reinforcement attacker that grants boosts and gets stronger in proportion to the number of buffs effects in place, which is very, very true. She's also very, very fast. I wish they mentioned stuff like that as well too. This Valeria in particular is very, very fast. Not as fast as SD, but she is still pretty good, and for just a standard attacker, she's not that bad as well. Claudia over here is going to be your ice supporter. She's a supporter that specializes in weakening enemies by boosting target damage received and reducing ice resistance. When it comes to Claudia, she's not bad. She kind of pretty much is very one note in my opinion. She's going to be pretty much just catering to specifically if you're fighting enemies who are weak against ice. So she's primarily going to be getting into mostly just an ice mono team if you're into that, if you're wanting to build that way. But we'll get into more of that once we get into their actual kits, but this is just the basic overview. With the update as well too, of course, we're going to have in Memoria that's coming as well, which states for after attacking with a slash or a stab attack, boosts own skill damage by 2% for 2 turns. So basically this is going to be good for any slash or stab characters. In this case, this one's probably more so catered for Valeria. If you end up getting her, you could definitely put this on here. I'll have to take a look at the stats. I'm not 100% sure what the stats look like, because it might not actually end up catering to her. Honestly, it might. I think there's probably better Memoria out there that do the exact same thing, except it's only specifically for slash, whereas this one's slash or stab, so it depends. I definitely know there's some better Memoria who do the actual passive is better than what's written here, as well as the overall stats are better as well too. But we'll take a look. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the stats are. We'll look at that here in a second. But like I said with this update, we're going to be getting the new story chapter, and so there's also going to be a third character that we're going to get for free, which is going to be the regular 1-star Valeria character, the one that we see within the story. So this Valeria is an alternative version to the one that we're looking at in the story. She's absolutely free. She's definitely not a bad attacker. You're going to get all of her character shards as well too for her. By getting her to max level at 60, you'll be able to go ahead and fully 5-star her from all the achievement rewards for getting her leveled up. So she's definitely an easy 5-star character you can get off rip without having to do too much work. You don't have to pull duplicates or anything like that. And very much like Resna that we get in the very beginning of the game. For leveling up Resna, we're going to get character shards just for that as well too. So it works the exact same way. It's a free character. You can get to 5-star very, very easily. So for anyone that just wants a character like that, if you don't really have a really good physical unit, that 1-star Valeria might be a good option for you as well too. So definitely something to look into if you're not fortunate enough to probably pull this Valeria, who is leagues better in my opinion. But let's go ahead and take a look at their kits, and we'll look at the Memoria as well too. So with this, we're going to be taking a look at the Barrel Wisdom website. They have a whole bunch of information about the game and the characters and such. I'll leave it linked down below too if anyone just wants a resource for these things. That way you guys can have access to it as well too, if you didn't know it exists. There's a lot of information here, even all the JP characters specifically, so you can kind of get a heads up to see who's coming as well. It's all pretty much here, and some guides as well too if you're looking at needing some help on those things. So we're going to take a look at Valeria first. First thing we're going to look at, what I really hate is that the gifts on both of them are just not that good. The synthesis gifts on them are just pretty average. They don't do anything crazy. They're not like broken or anything. They're just playing in the realm okay. So slash blessing, slash curse, and slash damage boost. Like, again, very basic, nothing too crazy, but they're nothing to write home about. But those are the gifts you're going to get for equipment and alchemy for items for Valeria. As I said, she's got a really good speed stat. She's got a really good speed stat at 260. She's definitely one of the more faster characters in the game. She's typically most likely going to be going first in your lineup, as far as like on the panel and everything. If you get her, especially if you build her with some speed memorias or some speed gear, she's most definitely going to always be first in your roster and getting attacks off. Most definitely, she'll probably end up being faster than your breakers as well too. So it depends on if you want to break first and get some damage afterwards, or vice versa. You might want to look at that for how you want to build her. But in general, she's got really good speed here. Excuse me. Physical attack and magic obviously are pretty basic, pretty standard. Her physical attack is pretty decent for what she is. Looking at her skills here, for first one, Black Wind, says before an attack removes negative effects from yourself, and after the attack applies negative effect immunity to yourself until the end of one action. This one right here's got a wait time of 100, so not too bad. As far as, so she's going to be back in your panel and you'll be able to use her right away almost. This one, anyway, this ability is pretty good for what it is. Getting rid of any debuff she obviously has is always nice, and then also giving her immunity to anything negative as well too. So really, you can't go wrong with that. So if you've got stages that are giving you like poison, paralysis, things and such as that, this is definitely a way to get around that, you know, using that skill 1 and giving her that negative effect immunity. So if you see it coming on a boss monster or just a regular mob, you can definitely pre-plan in advance to make sure she's going to be okay at the very least, so she doesn't get that added onto her whatsoever. You can see here, of course, how it scales as it levels up. Her next one here is going to be Icicle Dance for her skill 2. It says, after attacking, give yourself physical attack, magic attack, and agility plus 10% until the end of one action, and give physical defense / magic defense plus 10% to yourself until you receive one attack. Pretty much just buffing herself quite a bit. It's got a wait time of 175. So even with this wait time at 175, she's still going to be popping up fairly early in your panel, in your timeline. So honestly, like I said, that speed difference for her having this really good speed here is what's really making her pretty remarkable. On top of the fact of her buffing herself the way that she does, really solid kit all around as far as her skill 1 and skill 2 goes. For the burst skill, it's called Night Break. It says damage plus 10%. 10% to 120%, depending on the number of strengthening effects given to yourself. 1 to 20, the more on a scale of 1 to 20, for the more that it increases. Strengthening effects that are activated at the start of battle have no limit on the number of times and are not included. So this burst of hers gets better based off the number of buffs that she has prior to using it. So if you want to set something up, if you can figure out a way to manipulate the timeline in order for her to be able to get her burst off, definitely want to make sure you're using items like maybe the Dragon Elixir or anything else that gives any sort of positive effects towards her, because it's just going to increase that damage even further and just pretty much annihilate foes in the long run. So honestly, for Valeria, she's got a pretty good all-around kit. Gifts, not so much. Like I said, main thing here for her is her speed. She's very fast. She's not the fastest in the game, but she's still got a pretty good speed. Her kit for her skill 1 and skill 2 very much complementary for her. Really works out as far as buffing her up and strengthening her. And then her burst, as I said, as long as it's still pretty powerful for what it is, it's not too bad. At a base 400 is okay. I think there's definitely some skills that are higher than that for base burst without being like a higher limit broken to like 4 or 5 star or anything like that. But once you get her broken up, her star level up, I mean, all up to 500, still pretty good, and her break isn't too bad either, but she's not a breaker, obviously, so, but still not bad numbers here. But primarily, she's going to be someone who's going to be able to get off multiple attacks off for you based off of how quick she is and the wait time she has for her skills here, which aren't that bad. They're pretty good. Overall, definitely a character I would say if you can get her with gems, do so. Those free ones that we basically get from the shop, definitely try for her if you can. Pretty solid unit all the way around. She's definitely still one of the better units in the JP version of the game as well too. You definitely see her in a lot of teams as far as just, again, for her speed capabilities and what she can do, and getting some good damage in as much as possible. And there's not a lot of characters that do what she does as far as strengthening herself with the buffs too, so that's always good to have as well. So next we're going to take a look at Claudia, and I'm just gonna off the bat, I just want to say I'm a Claudia stan. I live for Claudia. She's so cute, so adorable, and playing through the Ryza games, which is definitely one of my favorites in the series for sure, I love and hold her at such high regard, but I really feel like they did her dirty. I really wanted her to be like a badass for sure, but I kind of understand because we're getting Ryza 1 Claudia. I feel like if we would have gotten maybe Ryza 2, even Ryza 3 Claudia, that might have been really set her over, possibly putting her in more of an attack role, but I understand why she's support. But yeah, so Claudia is going to be your ice supporter. Her gifts here, she's got Ice Curse, so of course increasing ice damage, I'm sorry, not increasing ice damage, but reducing ice resistance for monsters. Ice shield, you know, having more resistance for ice, and then ice damage boost, again pretty standard, raising the damage for your ice characters. Her overall stats, they're okay. They're not, you know, nothing to write home about. Again, she's just a supporter, so you're not expecting your supporters to be tanky. You're not expecting them to have a whole lot of magic attack or anything like that. Average stats for a supporter. Her skill 1 here says after attacking, it gives damage received plus 10% to the target until it's attacked twice. I think this is the exact same effect as Rorona. I don't know if the being attacked twice part is the same. I forget, I'd have to read it, but very much the same exact thing. If you've used Rorona before, she does the exact same thing, 10% for damage received on the enemy. It's got a wait time of 100, so you know once you use it, she'll pop back up for pretty often. Power on it, of course, not that great. Again, supporter, not supposed to be super powerful. Let's see. Skill 2 says for I know I say this wrong, and forgive me if I do. Flagellate. It sounds so bad. It sounds close to another word that I can't say for YouTube reasons. But it says after attacking is going to give ice attribute resistance plus 25% to the target until it's attacked 3 times. And then it gives ice attribute damage plus 25% to all allies at the end of one action. This has got a wait time of 200. Power scaling, again, just okay. But the problem with this is, while I love this for Claudia as a skill in general, it's not bad. The problem is this primarily, she only is really good for one niche thing. Claudia's kit all around is pretty much just geared for her to be into an ice team, or if you just need someone to buff everyone on an ice attribute enemy, she's not bad, you know what I mean? Giving everyone 25% resistance is still pretty good, so but it's just used for that one simple thing that she's kind of very one note. And then her burst here for Song of Finale, it says before attacking, give the target ice attribute resistance minus 50% until attack 3 times. After attacking, give damage received plus 20% to the target until attack 2 times. Her burst is pretty good, but again, it's just very much one note. It's if you really need to get the resistance down for ice in particular, this is great. You know, 50% off rip, and then also damage received in general, a 20%. I'm sorry, 50% for ice attacks, and then 20% in general for damage received is really good. It's not bad whatsoever, but again, primarily it just falls short because it just feels like you can only put her in certain situations and she can't be used in the long term. As far as like her passives go, she's going to give everyone magic attack plus 5%. And then of course she's got a resist step for paralysis, pretty okay. Magic attack 5%, you know, whatever, nothing crazy. But I really hate this for Claudia. Again, I'm a Claudia stan through and through, and I know a lot of people are. A lot of people love Claudia for who she is as a person, and it's just it really hurts that she got done like this in terms of this game anyway. You know, I really wanted her to be some crazy, really good supporter, and that's just not here. You know what I mean? You know, she doesn't even heal. She's an ice supporter that doesn't even heal. So if she had a heal, I might be a little more into her, but just overall, if I need the ice attribute resistance to go up or down, depending on what we got going on, or if I need to put in ice units to get some more damage off, I can put her in the team also to do a little strengthening, but that's about it. But the problem is, she's very much like, she'd work best in a ice mono team, but with the way this game works, the way Atelier Resleriana works, you don't really build for mono teams. That's the problem also too. You know, it's a lot of mix and matching for your character, for your roles and ability builds, and so it just makes it hard to just want to validate putting in a character that's strictly mostly going to be really good for one thing, you know? I know it happens. I know we switch in and out 1 or 2 characters here and there for certain stages that we're doing, but that's just about it. Like I would love Claudia to be on my team all the time. You know, if it was up to me, I'd probably have a full gang of Ryza team. You know, if Tao and Lent were better, I'd probably throw them in too, you know, just to have my own little dream team of them, especially when Empel comes down the line too. That's going to be even better, you know? But yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate. She's okay, but just not a overall unit you're going to be using long term. And I really hate that for her. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to take a look at the Memoria, and let me tell you, it took me a minute to find it. I scrolled so far up and down, and did not see it, but I found it eventually. So here's the Memoria here. It says slash attack damage up 3. Again, as I said before, when making a slash or a thrust attribute attack, give yourself skill damage plus 2 to 21% until the end of 2 actions. So basically, the max of 21% is going to be if you max it out at rank 5. So if you get dupes of it, and then looking down here, the stats are okay. They're nothing great. This is what I was talking about before. Is that like, the stats on this aren't anything special, and we already have Memoria that do this exact thing. For slash characters in particular, I know for sure, not so much stab characters, but just the stats in general, just nothing crazy. The highest thing on here is physical attack, of course, so it's built for a physical attacker, so that makes sense. But you know, speed's okay, it's at almost 12%, so like, even if you want to put this on, this isn't a bad Memoria if you want to put it on a character who, let's say you need some more speed for whatever reason, you can throw this on them because it gives you about 12%, so that's not bad. But that's pretty much it. I feel like I said, there's better Memorias out there that are gonna do that, cater to slash or even stab attribute characters, but give you better stats overall. This isn't really anything great. It's not bad, but not great. And so again, if you need it for the stat boosters for someone, if you don't have another Memoria to use and you just slap it on someone for a certain fight, for like the speed, for example, do that. But overall, underwhelming, nothing crazy. If you get it, that's great, but nothing to really shoot for, that's for sure. So that's going to be it for the video. I just want to leave you guys with some last thoughts here. Overall, I would say if you're going to pull for these characters, I would say only pull, unless you have the extra currency to just blow, if you're spending money or anything like that, I would say just buy the half-off gems in the shop for the 1500 lodestones. Just do that. That is going to get you more bang for your buck, as we said before. Just simply do that, get your 2 pulls out the way, see if you get lucky or not. Definitely, you want to hope to get Valeria. She's the better option between the 2. If you just want Claudia for collection purposes, I get that too. I get it. Because I do want Claudia. I don't have her on my JP account. I was super upset about it, even though she's not great. I just wanted her for collection purposes. But primarily, I would say shoot for Valeria. She's going to give you more bang for your buck. She's going to be a character you can use long term in your parties. And that's what you mainly want, especially for free-to-play players. I know for a fact, if you're looking to just kind of be frugal and not waste your gems on characters or pulling for certain characters, definitely go for her. Now there's another character as well that's going to be really good coming down the line, which is another Ryza character, a Ryza variant, which is really good, and I love her in my opinion. But if you can get her, I don't know when we're going to get the Ryza banner that I'm talking about. Hopefully it does come, but I don't know when it's going to. It depends. I think it only came in JP on an anniversary for the Ryza series, so we'll see what happens with that, and when we get that, if we get it, we'll find out. But in the meantime, overall thoughts, definitely pull for Valeria if you really need an attacker. If you just want to keep saving for certain characters that are coming in the future, do that too as well. But I would say I would definitely just get the 2 pulls out of the shop, see what you get. If you get lucky, that's awesome. If you don't, keep it moving. You know, there's going to be more characters down the line that are still pretty good, but Valeria is indeed a character who you could definitely have on your team for the long term. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. And then the Memoria, meh, don't pull for it. Don't go into the pool trying to get this. Just don't. If you get it, that's great. If not, move on for life. It's not the best. So so there's that. But yeah, hopefully what I wish they would have done, and it'll come down the line where we get a trial run with the characters. It comes in a later update. I forget which one it's going to show up in. I wish they would have put that feature in from the get-go, but hey, it is what it is. They got to put Claudia Life features, you know, down the line later. So we'll find out for that. But yeah, in the grand scheme, definitely get Valeria. If you want to just collect, go for Claudia. And that's just coming from me being a big fan of hers. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this helped to try to help you guys make a decision on who to pull for. If you have any other questions or concerns, put them down in the comments down below. Definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep on putting out some more Atelier Resleriana content. I want to grow this little family over here for our little family of alchemists, if you will. So I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys take care. Bye, guys.